One thing I want to get into today is, a lot of people are still asking us, there's a bubble coming. What about this bubble? What about this recession? What about this? What about that? We've talked about many, many times on the show how there's not a bubble coming. And we've recited multiple facts and everything else. And one thing I want to get back to is, or go over, and we haven't discussed this in a while, is 2008, how were Americans treating their homes? How were Americans looking at the real estate market, the whole nine yards with the rates and everything else? And at the same time, house values were surging. They were just going through the roof, and rates were dropping. So you got home values going up, rates are dropping, Americans are spending like crazy. They're using their houses like an ATM. There was people that were refinancing, cashing out, paying off all the debt, and then they'd go do it again. And then by the time the actual housing collapse hit,
they were so underwater.
Right. So a lot of people talk about all this negative equity and all this, the negative housing numbers, but some Americans have put themselves into that position.
Sure.
When the housing market did hit its peak, the homeowners had no money left in equity-wise. And when you looked at the numbers back between 2005 to 2007, Americans were cashing out $824 billion with a B, $1 billion in equity. $824 billion. Compared to now, 3 years back, they've only cashed out $174 billion. That's a difference of $650 billion difference between now and 10 years ago.
That's crazy.
So, even though the values are going up, just like they were back during the pre-collapse, the American public is not going back into that same debt position as they did before. So that's another good example of, hey, there's not a bubble coming. Plus, the lending standards are a whole lot tighter. They're not giving just the loans away to just anybody and everybody. Back in the day, they'd allow us to loan to somebody that had a 580 credit score, 100% financing, no money in the bank, 55% debt to income ratio. They had no business buying a house.